Hello and welcome to another episode of Late Night Gaming with me, PaperLol. Bit of a special one this actually, because I'm not actually doing much on this one. Actually, a couple of days ago, I recommended the Tekkit mod for a friend of mine. And he'd never heard of it, which I was quite surprised because he's quite prolific in Minecraft. But anyway, so I explained a few things to him. But I thought it might be even better, just to show. So yeah, here's my world. Looks, fairly standard for a late game Minecraft world. But we'll get into the details. First of all, you'll notice this floor. This is marble brick. Now, obviously, marble's something new. It doesn't do much, but it's a nice little addition. So over here, I'm just over here I'm just in my little beach hut, which is my first house. But then I had to move out because I needed other stuff. Yeah. So before I go over there, I'll just show you a few things over here. First of all, you notice this black armor. This is dark matter armor, and it's completely indestructible and blocks the majority of damage. And I've got these two very special weapons here. This is a red guitar, which is made of red matter, and the red morning star, which is made of red matter also. And these are basically all the tools in one. So you can imagine what sort of damage they do. Look at that, one hit. Pretty much everything is one hit. And you'll notice then that I was flying for a minute, and that's because of this item here. This is called Swiftwolf's Reningale, but we'll get to that later. First of all, let's go over here to something simple. Now, this is just a little pool area that I made, but you'll notice these are some very strange looking blocks. Now this is a kind of a little supplementary mod that's included, which allows you to cut blocks in half. It allows you to make much more complicated shapes, and it's quite easy to do thanks to an interface, but I'm not going to get too much into that because it's not as interesting as some of the other stuff. So let's show you something really amazing over here. Now, doesn't this just look brilliant? This is an oil refinery. Oop. Here is my oil. This is crude oil that I pumped from a hole down there somewhere. But then it gets transported into this. Bloody hole. It gets transported into this, which is an oil refinery, which turns the oil into fuel. But then I'm using this fuel by putting it into this. This is a combustion engine, which I can use to power all sorts of things, which I'm using to power the refinery just to make it a bit quicker. These are the best type of engines. There's also these other type of engines here. These are redstone engines, they're kind of free. They don't use any fuel. There's three engines. You get the redstone engines, which are free, and let's get rid of this guy. Rather annoying. And then you get steam engines, which require coal, and then you get these bad boys, which require fuel. However, these are a little bit volatile, which is why I've covered it in obsidian. They also need cooling, which is what the water's for. Yeah. So, let's move on a little bit. You'll notice these special torches. What they do is they keep mobs away. So, I'll just aggro this enderman here. Yep. And you'll see in a minute when he comes back. He can't come near me because of this torch. Anywhere this light is cast upon, you can't go in, which is quite handy for keeping creepers away from your very expensive gear. There we go. See, this weapon does far too much damage, but it's almost like being in creative, but I'm not. Everything you see here I've made legitly from scratch. So let's go into the workshop. Now, all this is a very complicated, essentially a sorting room. In here, up here, is my input. I've got all sorts of stuff that come in there, like R's and whatnot. I'll explain where they come in a minute. And it all gets sorted. I've got all these different pipes. You see these ones here? These, basically, you can use these, and you can tell it exactly what you want to go to where. And, oh, my texture pack's glitched out a little bit there, but never mind. And here you'll see some rather strange looking items. And basically, this is a macerator, which is glitched out. And what that does is, when you put ore in, it macerates it so that it grinds it into dust, and then you basically get 2 dust for every ore, and that dust can then be smelted into 1 ingot, and then you end up with a nice stash like this. And obviously you can see there's copper, there's tin, silver, which looks almost identical to tin, gold. So yeah, you can get a nice hoard quite quickly. This is an induction furnace. And basically, you see this heat rate in here. The longer you leave it on, the hotter it gets, and then the faster it will cook something. So, for example, let's I'll just chuck something in now, just to show you. Look, yeah, and obviously it can do 2 at once as well. And then it gets sucked out by all these engines. All these engines are hooked up to pipes, and they suck stuff out and move it along. This is a crystal chest, which allows you to, which is very cool. It allows you to see what's in it, and it's also got a larger inventory than what you'd expect. Now I've got it all hooked up, so it's mostly automated. So everything, like I say, everything comes in from there. Ore would go into there, gets put down into here. So, for example, the macerator doesn't just do ore; you can macerate pretty much most things. So yeah, I put in stone then, and it made it into cobblestone. If you put cobblestone in, it turns it into sand. If you put gravel in, it turns it into flint. All sorts. Yeah. Over here's just a couple of vanilla things that are just there for whatever reason. Right. Next. Here we've got a condenser. Now, one of the mods that's included is called Equivalent Exchange. And basically, it essentially means that everything has a value. And you can exchange things that are of equal value. The best way to explain it would to be, think of Full Metal Alchemist. That if you know what that is, or you know the story of Full Metal Alchemist, that pretty much explains it. So in here, this is a condenser. Actually, no, I'll use this first. Here's a transmutation table, and basically I can put stuff in here, and it'll make me stuff. It'll tell me what I can make with the same value. So, for example, I can turn this 1 brick into 1 obsidian, like so. However, this table takes a bit of time, and so over here I've got a condenser which does everything for me. All I have to do is to put an item in this corner here. So let's say I want some more ender pearls, and it'll convert anything that's put into it into more ender pearls. There we go. And as you can see, I've got an input here. Basically, all the crap that I don't want just goes all the way through here, into there, and gets turned into something I do want. And you can put anything in there. And because you can turn anything into whatever, you can end up with quite a nice stash. For example, look how many diamonds I've got. 25. Right? Okay. I want more diamonds though. This is red matter here. Red matter is worth a lot. And it should be, because it's absolute arsehole to make. So, I want more diamonds. There we go. Look at that, 64 diamonds. No problem. Yeah. So there we go. 64 diamonds in a heartbeat. Once it gets to this point in the game, the other thing we'll have to do is just to keep building stuff. Keep going more complicated. Right, however, these machines don't run themselves. They need to be powered. Now, not powered like the engine that was outside. No. These have to be powered with electricity. To do that, what I've got is a system of solar panels. Now, solar panels are quite good because they create free energy, because as long as it's daytime, they'll keep creating energy. And I've got all these wires that take it all into here. This is a battery box, and it basically sucks up all the power. But actually, solar panels don't create all that much, but you can see I've got over, how many zeros is that? That's I've got 10 million units of electricity. And there's no way you can make that from solar panels, and that's because I've got quite a nice little secret down here. This is my nuclear reactor. As you can see, I've covered it in obsidian, and this is a special type of glass. This is reinforced glass, because basically if these things get too hot, they blow up. And when I say blow up, I mean TNT blows up, and it'll make a fairly large hole in anything. When this blows up, it's about the size of four in-game chunks. So you really don't want these things blowing up. And as you can see inside, it's a very complicated cooling system. All the blue items are coolant, all the green items are uranium, and that creates a lot of power. Just go up this maintenance shaft. It's all in this big chunky wire that gets carried outside and into my battery box up there. Here's a fairly complicated item. It's called a mass fabricator. It uses a lot of power, which is why I've got to plug it in straight down here. And this makes UU matter. UU matter is a bit of a strange one, because you can basically turn UU matter into anything else if you put it in the right shape. But the primary use for it is to turn it into this iridium ore, and that iridium ore is basically the highest value item you can get. You can't make it through a covenant exchange. You can only make it through mass fabrication. And you can make some pretty beefy armor out of that stuff. So yeah, that's my workshop. I'll show you quickly where I get all my stuff from, though. You'll see these orange areas here. These are quarries, or they were quarries. And basically, what that does is you set out a perimeter, and then it digs everything from inside it, and sucks it all up into some pipes. So yeah, I've got one that's turned off at the moment because it's run out of. These are steam engines, and it's run out of fuel, so it's turned off at the moment. But it all gets sucked up and taken over there, and back into my factory. As you can see, this one's been going for a while now. It's stuck a fair amount. Kill him. And it'll keep going until it hits bedrock, so it's not too far off. But yeah, it's quite good. You know, it takes. I'm not gonna lie, it takes a long time to set this up, especially if you're doing it. You know, you mean because with Tekkit, it's got a lot of mods installed. So for example, you've got too many items, so I could just put in. Say I wanted a diamond, or anything diamond, and I could grab it from there if I wanted to. So, for example, diamond shovel. There we go. It's very hard to resist using this, but if you do, it's well worth it. It's that much sweeter. Over here we've got a couple of furnaces. They're not too important. That's basically there's a mod in it called Railcraft, which changes the way that rails work. It makes them a bit more complicated. Makes them an absolute ball ache to make. But no. Right, over here we have my cake factory. There's the eggs. And if I press this, then it goes into another room, harvests the reed. What you also do is need to put milk into this. It's actually a condenser, but it's the Milk Maker 3000 really. And some wheat in there, and it'll take everything into another room, and it makes cakes. See, there's the wheat going through now. There's the reed, sorry. And basically, in there's a nice machine that turns it into sugar for me, and then turns all that into cake. So everything here is probably something you can make in vanilla, to be honest. I think I've got an access shaft somewhere. I've got a hole in there. Do you know what that'll be? That'll be a bloody Enderman that's just run off with a cube on my roof. So this is a simple reed farm in here. I recently found out that if you grow reeds on sand, they grow twice as fast, apparently. This is a wireless transmitter. It allows you to transmit redstone signals over a wide distance. So everything, basically every unit is self-contained. And there's the chicken factory. I'm not going to show you that, it's really boring. In here, this is the cake factory. This is where it all gets made. Now, my original idea was I was going to have another. I wanted the cakes to be made organically as possible, but obviously the problem is I can't replace the buckets of milk very easily. So I cheated and used a condenser. But everything, all the inputs right. So yeah, that's some of Tekkit. Oh, one last thing. There's you see these things in the air here. These are energy converters. Basically, they take sunlight and turn it into equivalent exchange. So basically, I'm making red matter for free. Now, it takes ages because red matter is worth a lot. But if you were to put something else in there, like, I don't know, let's say you needed some arrows. Yeah. 3 arrows. They just keep churning them out all day. As long as it's sunlight, they keep doing it. And over here I've got a small one set up. This one just grabs energy for me in a different fashion, because I've got this item here. This is called a Klein Star, and this allows you to transport equivalent exchange, because you see these red matter weapons, they actually normally they take glowstone as fuel, but obviously it's a bit awkward to take glowstone everywhere with you, so you can use these Klein Stars instead, which will soak up a load of it for you. So yeah, that's Tekkit. Highly recommend it to anybody who is a little bit bored with Minecraft, needs a little bit more. You can create some pretty technical things in Minecraft anyway, but it just gets to a point when there's just not much left to do, and so this is absolutely brilliant. I mean, this is child's play. Everything that I've got here is child's play. There are people that have got much more complicated machines. I mean, for example, the reactor I've got is what's known as a Mark 1 reactor, in that it doesn't produce as much energy as it could do, but in return for that, it's very stable. You can make Mark 2 reactors, which are a bit more unstable, produce a lot more energy though. And then you can create daft ones like Mark 5 reactors, where you've got to be somewhat of a genius with redstone to get all sorts of safety pistons set up. For example, if it gets, you can put thermometers on them, and if it gets too hot, you can have a piston that knocks everything out of it. So it gets it gets fairly complicated. But yeah, so yeah, I definitely recommend this to anybody who's a little bit bored of Minecraft. So yeah, that's my Tekkit world. But until next time, take care.